Okay, let me start with the facts. I'm a 50-year-old guy living in Irvine, California, the kind of place where you spot Teslas at every stoplight and everyone pretends their lives are perfect. My name, call me Mark. Don't bother looking up my LinkedIn. I keep things tight, at least I thought I did. I need to tell you something that would blow up my life if it ever got out, like nuclear-level fallout. So picture this. For the past 17 years, I've been with my wife, Jenna. We have the house on a quiet street, 2 cars in the garage, the usual dinner parties with neighbors where everyone brings sad little casseroles and fake smiles. But lately, no, honestly, for years it's been stale, like sleeping next to a roommate who never laughs at your jokes anymore. I tried everything, date nights, couples therapy, do not recommend unless you like arguing about the dishes in front of a stranger, even surprise weekend trips up to Santa Barbara. Nothing stuck. Conversations are just logistics now. What's for dinner? Who's walking the dog? That kind of thing. The only time she touches me is when she hands me her empty coffee mug with that look that means refill. One night last spring, after Jenna fell asleep on the couch again with some true crime podcast mumbling away, I found myself scrolling Reddit instead of doom-scrolling Facebook groups. That's when it hit me. RR4R. People looking for connections in all flavors, hookups, friendships, secret affairs. There was this weird honesty to it all, people just putting their loneliness out there. I typed up a post, not proud of it, but here's what I wrote, looking to connect with someone who values chemistry, laughter, and discretion. I'm in a long-term relationship that's lost its spark, and I'm hoping to meet someone open-minded who enjoys genuine connection and fun without complication. I'm 510, fit, and tend to look younger than my age. Ideally, I'd love to meet someone confident and a bit adventurous who's drawn to an easygoing, mature guy. I stared at it for 5 minutes before hitting post. My hands were actually shaking, a grown man terrified of strangers on the internet. The adrenaline hit felt like cheating already. At first, nothing happened except some spam bots and one dude asking if I was into feet pics, hard pass. But then, 2 days later, I got a DM from someone named Sierra Sunset. Her message was playful. Is it possible you're actually a time traveler? Because you definitely don't sound 50. I laughed out loud in my kitchen at midnight like some idiot teenager. We started chatting first about dumb stuff like favorite movies, she loves old noirs, then about our lives. She said she was married too, a husband who worked late and hardly noticed when she slipped out for yoga. God help me, I was hooked. For weeks we traded messages, inside jokes, flirty banter, bet you can't guess what color my nails are, even memes about midlife crises. It was easy because she got it, the suffocation of pretending everything's fine when you're dying inside. One day she wrote, if we met, would you regret it? That one hit different. Part of me wanted to ghost her right then, delete the app, go back to being good old Mark the responsible husband. But another part, the tired part desperate for warmth, typed back, only if we never do. We picked a coffee shop downtown for our first meetup, neutral ground during daylight so no one could accuse us of sneaking around, even though that's exactly what we were doing. I wore my best shirt and tried not to sweat through it. She walked in wearing jeans and a red sweater that made her hair glow copper in the sunlight. She looked nervous but smiled wide as soon as she saw me. Mark! Sierra! We both laughed, too loud for strangers, and sat across from each other like kids on a blind date. Conversations flowed easy, music we loved growing up. She hates Bon Jovi but loves Fleetwood Mac. How weird it is that everyone expects marriages to last forever when nobody teaches you how. 3 hours vanished in what felt like 20 minutes. I should go, she said finally, fiddling with her keys. Text me when you get home safe, she grinned, that wild grin, and nodded. By the time I got home, Jenna was already asleep upstairs. The dog barely lifted his head as I crept in. Guilt twisted inside me, but excitement drowned it out. The next few weeks were a blur of secret texts, miss your face today, lunch breaks that turned into hour-long walks by the lake with Sierra always brushing her hand against mine like it was an accident. We never went further than kissing, not yet, but every touch sent shockwaves through my body like I was 20 again. Then came the night. Jenna left town for 3 days, a conference up in San Francisco, and Sierra's husband was working late shifts all week. She messaged, want to come over, just hang out, no pressure. I nearly broke my phone typing yes back so fast. Her place smelled like vanilla and rain as soon as I stepped inside. Candles flickered everywhere, a little dramatic but honestly kind of perfect. We cooked pasta together, me chopping garlic while she danced around humming Stevie Nicks and drank cheap wine until our faces hurt from laughing. Around midnight it happened. We kissed on her couch as music played soft in the background. I feel alive, she whispered against my neck. So do I admitted, voice shaking. We let ourselves get lost in each other, a hurricane after years spent drifting through fog. Afterwards, we lay side by side, tangled up in her blanket fort. Yes, really, staring at the ceiling like two kids hiding from bedtime monsters. That night changed everything, not just for me, but for how I saw my marriage back home. Suddenly, Jenna's silence wasn't comfortable anymore. It was suffocating. But here's where things started unraveling faster than I could handle. The next morning at work, my phone buzzed, a notification from Jenna's number. "Who is Sierra?" My heart stopped cold. I stared at the screen so long my assistant poked her head in. "Mark, you okay?" "Yeah, just spilled coffee." Jenna had never snooped before, not once in 17 years, but somehow she'd found something. Maybe an old message left open on my laptop, or maybe Siri snitched while searching for playlists. I called her immediately, but she didn't pick up. Instead, she sent another text. "We need to talk tonight." You know that feeling when your stomach drops so hard you think you might actually faint? That was me all day, sweaty palms during meetings, mind racing through every possible excuse or explanation or lie that might save me. When I got home, Jenna was waiting in the kitchen, arms crossed, tight, mouth set like stone. "Sit," she said flatly. "Jenna," she slid her phone across the counter toward me. The screen opened to a string of notifications from an unknown number. Texts between Sierra and me popped up one after another. All those inside jokes, all that stupid flirting spelled out clear as day. "I didn't mean for any of this," she cut me off sharp. "How long?" I swallowed hard, trying not to sound pathetic. "A couple months," she laughed, not happy laughter, but this bitter, broken noise that made me want to crawl under a rock forever. "You know what hurts most? Not even that you cheated, it's how easy you lied to me." There wasn't anything left to say, so I just sat there staring at my hands, wishing they belonged to anyone else but me. Jenna packed a bag, no screaming, no throwing things, just cold efficiency, and left without another word, not even looking back at our dog whining by the door. Now comes round two. Sierra found out too, but not from Jenna directly, from her own husband, who apparently tracked her phone location after noticing extra-long yoga sessions on Google Maps history. How did everyone get so good at digital detective work overnight? He confronted her with screenshots right as she stepped in from work. She called me sobbing 10 minutes later. "He knows everything, Mark, it's over." And just like that, whatever bubble we'd built popped instantly, leaving nothing behind except panic and guilt thick enough to choke on. A week blurred by. I barely ate, slept, or showered, just shuffled between empty rooms haunted by echoes of old routines now hollowed out by betrayal. Jenna blocked my number. Sierra moved back in with her sister. Our mutual friends stopped inviting me anywhere except one guy who texted simply, "What were you thinking, dude?" No good answer for that one either. Maybe if this were fiction, we'd wrap up neatly here, but real life keeps going no matter how much you want off the ride. 2 weeks post-explosion, Jenna showed up unannounced. Not angry anymore, just exhausted, eyes rimmed red from crying or lack of sleep, or maybe both. "I want half," she said quietly, sliding divorce papers across our kitchen table. The same table where we used to laugh over pancakes Saturday mornings before everything soured into secrets and silence. Half our savings, half our house, even half custody of our aging dog, who never asked for any of this drama but still got caught in crossfire anyway. Therapy became mandatory per court order, not just for appearances, but because apparently people expect repentance before forgiveness, or at least before dividing assets officially. My therapist looks like Santa Claus if he traded cookies for prescription pads. Mostly he listens while I stumble through excuses, then asks gently, "What did you really want, Mark?" And all I can think is warmth, acceptance, laughter. All things missing so long I'd forgotten they mattered more than keeping score or keeping secrets or keeping up appearances for other people who never really cared anyway. Every night since then, I've lain awake replaying every decision, every text, every moment leading up to that first post on Reddit, wondering if maybe somewhere back there I'd missed an exit ramp off this disaster highway before crashing straight through every warning sign flashing bridge out ahead. But hindsight's always 20/20 right. Friends faded fast after news spread. Some took sides, some went Switzerland, but most just quietly deleted me from group chats, pretending not to notice whenever mutual invitations dried up entirely, leaving only awkward small talk at Trader Joe's if we ran into each other over bags of kale chips nobody really likes anyway, except maybe Jenna. Of course, finances cratered too. Lawyers aren't cheap, neither are therapists or single-bedroom apartments close enough so dog drop-offs aren't logistical nightmares twice a week. Sometimes late at night, after paying bills online, I'd stare at dwindling account balances thinking, was it worth it? Knowing deep down even asking meant answer was probably no anyway, but regrets don't pay rent either, do they? Sierra reached out once months later, not with apologies or accusations, just a simple note. I hope someday you find what you're looking for, Mark, even if it's not me or anyone else, just a piece, I guess. I didn't reply right away. Couldn't find words then or now, really. But reading it back sometimes makes ache behind ribs less sharp, less raw, more manageable, somehow knowing someone else survived same storm, even if neither of us washed ashore anywhere better than before disaster struck full force, without mercy or map showing way home again, ever truly possible after trust shatters, under pressure secrets bring down whole houses built brick by quiet brick over decades, gone now overnight without warning. Except all those little signs ignored, until too late already spinning. Out past point no return ever again anyway, unless maybe someday someone forgives enough to try rebuilding something new atop ruins left behind. But that's wishful thinking, not reality. Not yet, not today, anyway, probably not tomorrow either, if I'm honest with myself finally. After 50 years learning hardest lessons, way too late for comfort. But maybe early enough still for hope, however small, stubbornly refusing surrender even now.